This is Pastor Dave, and I'm here with Vacation Bible Stories in place of Vacation Bible School. And this appears on the link, YouTube link, Bright Star Parish. And we're doing the story today of Jesus feeding the 5,000. That's taken from the 14th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew. Matthew chapter 14, beginning with 13. Jesus heard what happened to John, and he wanted to be alone. So he went in a boat to a quiet place, but the crowds heard about this, and they followed him on foot from the towns. When Jesus came ashore, he saw a large crowd, and he felt deep concern for them. He healed their sick people. When it was almost evening, the disciples came to him. "There is nothing here," they said, "and it's already getting late. Send the crowds away so that they can go and buy some food in the villages." And Jesus replied, "They don't need to go away. You give them something to eat." "We only have 5 loaves and 2 fish," they answered. "Then bring them here to me," he said. And then Jesus directed the people to sit down on the grass. And he took the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, and he looked up to heaven, and he gave thanks, and he broke the loaves into pieces, and then he gave them to the disciples, and the disciples gave them to the people, and all of them ate, and they were satisfied. And the disciples picked up 12 baskets of leftover pieces, and the number of the men who ate was about 5,000. Women and children also ate. That would be the story of the feeding of the 5,000.
Pastor Dave, what does Jesus need to make a miracle?
And I guess the answer is 5 loaves and 2 fish. What he needs ultimately is he needs what we have to give him. In other versions of this story, there's a little boy who has a little fish sandwich, and that's what he has. It isn't, the disciples remind Jesus, it isn't enough to feed these people. But I think our lives and what we have to offer in the hands of God become sacrament. They become, when Jesus lifts it up and gives thanks for it, then it becomes, God's abundance can flow out of that. And so that would be, again, the disciples see what's not possible, which is sometimes what I call a poverty mentality, is what we don't have. And I think sometimes in our lives it's easy to focus on what we don't got, what we don't have. I think particularly for children, or for young people, is I'm not educated, I'm not all these things that adults are, and so what do I have to give to God? But I think the key is what we have, like the widow's mite, right? What we have to give to God, that He can take and use that, and so that would be the story. That of course the cute saying that I always have with this story is, what kind of bread did Jesus use to feed the 5,000? And that's where Zane Phillips says it's Wonder Bread, but the answer is it's plain old bread. And I think again for us, our temptation is to say, well, I'm just this plain old person. What can I do for God? And the answer is, well, in the hands of God, it can turn into a miracle. If we truly give ourselves to God, then He can use that to do incredible ministry. But the key is, I think sometimes we disqualify ourselves and we say, well, I don't have enough to give Him, or I'm not enough, or I'm not this or that. And God says, no, you have enough. I've given it to you. Now, if you give it to me, then it can be a miracle. And so that's the story.
Thanks, Pastor.